Mr. Mitchell banned all food and drinks from biology class, including water, so when my diabetic classmate started having a sugar crash, I gave him my hidden juice box, and Mitchell dusted it for fingerprints like a crime scene. What's the dumbest reason you got in trouble at school? Mr. Mitchell had one rule he enforced like his life depended on it. Absolutely no food or drinks in his AP biology classroom, not even water bottles with lids. He claimed that even a single drop of liquid could ruin thousands of dollars of lab equipment, and that food attracted ants which would contaminate his specimens. On the first day of school, he spent 40 minutes showing us photos of ant infestations and destroyed microscopes from previous schools, then made us sign contracts promising we'd never bring any food or drinks into his room. He'd actually gotten 3 kids suspended last year for having cough drops, which weren't even technically food. The man would patrol the room during tests, looking for hidden water bottles like he was searching for weapons. His class was right before lunch, which meant we sat there for 90 minutes absolutely dying of thirst while doing complicated labs. Kids would literally run to the water fountain the second his class ended, sometimes missing the beginning of their next period. One girl fainted during a dissection unit because she was dehydrated, but Mr. Mitchell said she should have hydrated better before class. Parents complained, but the administration backed him up because his test scores were the highest in the district. He even banned gum after finding a piece stuck under a desk, installing cameras to catch anyone chewing. We all kept energy bars and drinks in our lockers, cramming them down in the 4 minutes between classes, but it was never enough during his double period labs. I started keeping a juice box hidden in my backpack after nearly passing out during a 3-hour practice AP exam he made us take. It was one of those tiny apple juice boxes from elementary school, and I kept it in a hidden pocket just in case I absolutely couldn't make it through class. I never planned to drink it, but knowing it was there made me feel less panicked about the dehydration. My friend Stella knew about it because she'd seen me sneak it in one morning, but she never said anything because she understood how insane the situation was. We were doing a lab about forensic science, learning how to dust for fingerprints and collect evidence from crime scenes. Mr. Mitchell was extra excited, showing us how real investigators could solve crimes from the tiniest details people left behind. About halfway through class, Miles, who sat next to me, started acting strange. He was sweating and shaking, and when he tried to write, his hands were trembling so bad he dropped his pencil. I knew he was diabetic because I'd seen him with his glucose monitor, and I recognized what was happening because my cousin had type 1 diabetes. Miles whispered that his blood sugar was crashing and he needed sugar immediately, but his glucose tablets were in his locker and Mr. Mitchell had already refused to let someone leave to use the bathroom earlier. Miles tried to raise his hand, but his arm was shaking too much, and then he slumped forward onto the lab table. A couple kids gasped, but Mr. Mitchell was across the room helping another group and didn't notice. Miles mumbled that he was about to pass out, and I knew if he went unconscious, it would be a serious medical emergency. I looked at Miles, then at my backpack where the juice box was hidden, then at Mr. Mitchell's back. I knew exactly what would happen if I got caught, but I also knew what would happen if Miles went into a diabetic coma. I grabbed the juice box from my backpack and shoved it at him, ripping the straw off and pushing it into the box. He drank it desperately while I blocked him from view with my body, praying Mr. Mitchell wouldn't turn around. The sugar hit his system fast, and within 2 minutes his color came back and his hands stopped shaking. The bell rang and Miles stumbled out to go to the nurse, still dizzy and disoriented from the sugar crash. I was so focused on making sure he made it out the door that I didn't notice he'd left the empty juice box sitting right there on the lab table. By the time I realized, Mr. Mitchell was already walking between the stations to collect our work, and I couldn't grab it without him seeing. The next morning, Mr. Mitchell was standing at the front of the room with a trash can from our lab station on his desk, wearing actual latex gloves. He had this huge grin on his face as he pulled out the empty juice box, holding it up like he'd found buried treasure. "Someone broke the most important rule in my classroom yesterday," he announced, his eyes scanning the room like